Tens of thousands of football fans came to Highbury. Electrifying.
Yes, guys! Hang on, I'll do Fabrizio. Yes, guys, and welcome back to the unbreakable, the unmistakable, and the always relatable TCP Live, coming at you live at 7:30 p.m. every Thursday, even on YouTube, and available ad free on YouTube memberships and Patreon. Here we go.
I feel
Come
like
on, it's not bad.
I feel like the one you did for me, the laptop, that was the best one. Like
The laptop one.
Maybe because I wasn't expecting it. Now that I know now that I know how you do it, it's like I want a bit more. But then I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it.
And also that one, I'll give you a little insight. I was with my I was so weird. I was with my friend. I was like, I just need to go and do a video. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, I just need to like go and do a Fabrizio. And he has no connection, so that he's not even an Arsenal fan. He's like, what? I was like, basically, my friend's got a new laptop and I have to do you know who Fabrizio Romano? Nope. So there's this guy, so out of context. Welcome back to TCP Live, everybody. We are, I think this is the record of how late we are.
I don't think so. Well, what time is it? Oh God.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 7:35.
We were having a call. We were having behind the scenes chats, guys, about the future of the podcast.
We actually were.
We're cooking, guys. Hello, everyone in the chat. How are you? I hope you're doing fantastically well. I'm excited to talk Arsenal. I'm excited to be back on TCP Live because I missed last week. How was it?
It was actually really good. I got so much of George last week. Like we had George on TCP Live, George on the Scouted, George on the main pod. Me and George have this thing now, right? So George, you'll notice it when he hosts. He gets really happy with himself when he's able to segue from one topic to another.
He's cooking now, though. I said to him because what he used to do, and I've told him this. He won't mind me saying it. He used to basically say his opinion as a question.
yeah.
And he was cook on the main pod on Monday. I was like, I'm so proud of him because it's obviously like this. That sounds really patronizing. He fucking schools me. I shouldn't swear. He schools me tactics wise, but obviously like the presenting wise and hosting wise, like that. But he's cooking, man. He's cooking. He was really good.
He was like, so he basically what it was is like George loves to get into a topic and he'll go into it as much as he can. Oh my God, you've stretched again. What's going on?
And this only happens on TCP Live. Because this doesn't happen on any other live stream. Why is that?
I actually prefer it like this.
No, you don't.
It's different.
Can someone tell me why this happens? Because and to be clear, it only happens on TCP Live. It's not happened on any other show. Maybe it's you.
Can I also say something, right? My barber has got it so it's too much on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has, isn't it?
It's a little bit like he's got a bowl and gone.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can't talk. Someone called me a pot noodle lesbian in my DMs. Sort of.
What?
Sort of fair enough, isn't it?
Oh, he's actually cut so much.
I told my family as well. Right, I'm gonna try and. Oh, it's so annoying. Let me see if I can move it. Let me do that back to my normal camera. Let me see if it goes back. There we go. Right, we might be all right now. Yeah, I told my family on holiday that I got called a pot noodle lesbian, and they just laughed.
Yeah, there's I've seen broccoli head.
Broccoli head's one. I said you on the phone, but I'll tell people on the pod. I was sat on the tube watching Jessica Black, Lee Gunner, Troops, all these guys. And I was like, you've definitely sent me some hate comments. At some point you have sent me a hate comment.
yeah, definitely.
We are here to talk Isak. We are here to talk the AC Milan game. We're here to talk the Madueke comments in the Athletic today. We're here to talk the Mosquera announcement, which came out of nowhere. Didn't expect it at all. I want to show Rohan a video of this guy who does these chants because I think it's so funny. And I want to talk Jesus. It's been on my list for so long, and I still think we are sleeping, Rohan, on Mr. Gabriel.
When is he actually meant to be back? Isn't it like towards the end of the year?
Yeah, but he's going to cook.
He's cooking,
cook. Thank you all in the chat. Let's come to you first. Alexander Isak to Arsenal. Here we go. The deal is done for the Swedish strikers to join Arsenal over Victor Gyökeres in a deal worth up to Moneypenny's kidney plus add-ons of Jivan's kidney. What if we here's a proposal.
You
for
lost your head on that this morning. I literally got out of work and I saw, oh, day ruined. I thought, what's happened? I've missed everything. And then I saw the news. Well, okay.
You know, when someone tweets something, it's not always serious. You know, my day wasn't actually ruined.
So what you're saying is it was for the likes.
But yes, just that's all I'm about. The news came out today, guys, that Alexander Isak is wanting to leave Newcastle. To be fair, I don't think he's put in an official transfer request. But obviously David Ornstein, it came out, I think it was Craig Hope in the Daily Mail, and then Fabrizio confirmed it, and then David Ornstein confirmed it, that Isak does want to leave. Then later on, the Newcastle news about Šeško came out. It's been quite the day with the number 9s. Give me your reaction, Rohan, initial reaction, an instant reaction, even though you don't like them, to to this news.
What, the Isak news, or like just everything?
Well, the whole day,
the whole shebang, the whole shebang. Well, I mean, I was catching up on it, and the Isak news. I can't lie, mate. Let's sit back and let's think about this. So Liverpool have already had an unprecedented window by their own right in terms of what they do as a club, and I think it was expected. The money that they have spent to bolster their team to maintain their ability to win that title again, because the hardest thing is always to win the title after you've already won it. I think Alex Ferguson said it many times, and the record speaks for itself in terms of teams over the years in Premier League history. Only United, Chelsea, Mourinho's Chelsea, and City have done it. So only 3 teams. Wenger's teams weren't able to do it, so I think it's only 3 teams.
Say those 3 again.
United, Chelsea, and City.
I think you're right.
Yeah, United did it under Ferguson. Chelsea did it under Mourinho, and then obviously City with Pep. So it's incredibly difficult, and they're spending money on players that are top, right, hands down. And I actually think the Ekitike deal, I don't know much about him. Shock, not watched him. But what I do know, listening to the people who have watched him, they say he is a prospect type, but it's kind of like that Sesko type in terms of it's a bang that is going to happen, just not quite yet. But they've signed Wirtz, they've got Salah there, they've got the superstar forwards there to facilitate that sort of deal. But that's 80 million. That's like 80 million that they've spent on him, 120 odd on Wirtz on top of the wages, and they spent big on the fullbacks. I just don't see how this Isak deal to Liverpool makes any sense to me. I don't believe it will.
And they're still going to do it.
They're not going to do it. Do you actually think they're going to? I don't see it happening, mate. Because yeah,
Lawrence McKenna has been mocking me all day on my WhatsApp. He is telling me that the Liverpool people he knows are saying basically once the Diaz deal happens, they move for him. I'm not saying that. I don't know. I'm not saying that's true.
Do you believe that, though?
It might be Lawrence winding me up. Here's my situation. I dread him going to Liverpool massively. Like, I really do. And you can kind of make an argument and you can go, well, actually, did they fix their DM and centre-back situation massively? I'm not sure. And have they got strength in depth? And if they get an injury to Van Dijk, you can make an argument. And, well, actually, Arsenal need to fix the left-hand side. So if you think about Gyökeres drifting to the left and Eze, well, guys, in the end, talent wins out. And we can, and I always think it's about ordering your arguments. It's ordering your arguments. And I say this sometimes about mentality, don't I? And it's like people, but the mentality, he's got great mentality, so he'll succeed. I'm telling you, technical quality, tactical flexibility, versatility of position, environment come way before, in my opinion, just the desire to score goals. Do you know what I mean? Like, just because you desire to score goals, like it's lower down the list. It's a factor, but it's not. You have to be careful where you place it. Yeah. And I think ultimately, just a quality like Isak trumps so much. It trumps so much. So if they can do it, it doesn't matter what we're doing. Like, it's unbelievable, and they'll score so many goals. So it's a big concern for me, especially with the Diaz move, especially with Nunes potentially going. I really, really fear it, to be honest. I have to be honest.
Yeah.
The only other club I can see realistically doing, and actually Alex Barker, who is doing a scouted with George right now on Xavi Simons for patrons, YouTube members. So he's recording that on the other side on StreamYard. Alex Barker actually tweeted something out. Do you know Alex Barker?
Yeah.
Smart
athletic guy, isn't he?
Yeah, really smart guy. And really nice guy as well.
Yeah.
He said, hot take, but I quite like it. Vinny's been flirting with Saudi for years. Sell Vinny to Saudi, move Mbappe to the left, primary position, get Isak for Madrid.
See, I see it differently. I see it as succession planning to Lewandowski for Barca. That's where I feel.
Yeah, but financially, they're doing cup and string deals, mate.
Possibly, but I mean, for me though, looking at the deal itself, well, looking at Isak's situation,
Yeah, it's sorry to cut you, AJ. It's absolute career mode stuff, but yeah.
But I would say, just genuinely, this seems like very much Newcastle giving to Isak's demands of a new contract on his terms. That's what. If you told me to bet on it right now, I think that's where it's going to be. He'll get his wage, and I think he'll get a release clause as well that will allow him to get out in the following summer. I think that's what it is. I could see the Saudi thing happen as well. If he was open to that, I could see that happen because they will be willing to spend the money to get him.
Yeah. Oh my god. For God's sake. It only happens on TCP Live. So annoying. Remedy, who comes on the show as well. Remedy, if anyone knows the technical workaround for that, please do let me know because I don't understand it. The Remedy, who comes on the show, he did a video the other day talking about this, and he was saying, what if there's a world where basically the Saudi, the PIF, the Private Investment Fund, would buy Isak, so to give Newcastle the money and then loan him back to Newcastle for a year. And I was like, that would just be the most Chelsea selling the women's team to themselves kind of deal. Yeah, look, I suppose.
What do you reckon? Your gut feeling, though, Alex. Your gut feeling. What do you reckon happens?
I was going to say, your point about the contract is probably the sensible one and probably the right one. I think probably, mate, what's happening is I absolutely love the talent. Yeah. If you go back, mate, he is the example. That goal against Liverpool he scored. His side, it's like the perfect bit of technical efficiency. He's slightly side on, so he's ready to take that ball on the back foot. Takes the ball on the back foot. As he does it, he cushions it out. One touch with the right foot, bang, past Van Dijk. And I think it's Kelleher in the Liverpool goal. Technical efficiency at its absolute peak. It's unbelievable to do that at the top level. The clip of him against, I think it's Everton, where he's on the left-hand wing, and he's just like someone of that size. Certain players, and we'll talk about the AC Milan game in a second. Certain players, and people must feel this as well, just give you goosebumps, man. Like they just like they bring something out of you where you just go, that's so beautiful. Actually, to be fair, Eze's one of them for me. He just makes me love football, and Isak is one. So maybe I'm not thinking straight in terms of the deal, etc. I'll have to bow to you on that one.
I genuinely, as much as the idea of, well, it's not the idea. It seems very factual that they're looking to ship off Diaz and Nunes, and that makes space for an Isak. So logically, from a squad building perspective, numbers in, numbers out, it makes sense. But I just can't see a club like Liverpool spending 80 million on Ekitike and then following that up with 130 million or whatever on Isak, two players who, Isak's in the prime of his career as well, and Ekitike is that prospect type who's going to be looking to then build himself in that Liverpool team. And I think there would be more. I'd see more sense of it if Isak was someone coming in for just a couple of years or 1 or 2 years to impact the next 2 seasons for Liverpool, and then Ekitike takes over. But if Isak comes in, I question how they're able to manage those two players. And again, obviously the counter argument to that is the number of games. And I guess we could probably, in our conversations of Arsenal's transfers and Mikel talking about how the game is changing and not thinking about backups and whatnot. Maybe that's where there is the angle of Liverpool actually doing this deal. So I do see that side to it. But I just feel like what Liverpool have already done is unprecedented, but expected. But doing an Isak on top of that would be crazy. And I just...
It would be crazy, but you kind of make the point there. And I've actually made a video about this on Different Knock. Mikel's comments, man, they say a lot. They say a lot about squad building, and he's moving away. He said himself, the tier 1, tier 2 type players. I don't even think about that anymore because we've got so many players, need to play so many minutes. We need such a deep squad. You need everyone who can start.
And that's where, so when before the window started, when me, you and George spoke about it, I think I was always someone in which, I don't see a world in which 3 attackers can come in, because of the squad space. And I'm looking at the number of players we have, but maybe that sort of thinking is now redundant. because of how the game is moving and the number of high intense quality matchups that you have week in, week out that you have to play. And in order to preserve the value, and we'll probably get onto it with a Mosquera, you need to have like these top players who you're spending big money on that aren't guaranteed to start, but can preserve the level of the staples that you alluded to in that tweet. So maybe it's just a different way of thinking that we have to get on board with.
I think so. I think so, because immediately your mind goes to, but they just signed Ekatike, and maybe it is in this new world. Maybe it's like, so what? Maybe
you
it
know
is
what's also interesting as well, Alex. Like, I found it very clear. Well, it's very clear to me now. You know how we look at players, like we look at Victor Gyökeres, and I'd say 55 to 60 million is solid value for that type of player. Now, Ekatike, 80 million, you and I, I've not watched a lot of him, but from what I hear, it's like he's a prospect. So 80 million, he's not worth that. But maybe clubs aren't looking at it from that lens anymore. They're gambling on players. They're saying, right, we don't care if he's not worth that right now. It looks a huge outlay in the present moment, but we gamble on that because we know that if we don't do it now, the fee is going to be excessive in just a season down the line. You know, so maybe it's a different way of thinking.
I think 100%. I think you hit on something there with just analysis in general.
Yeah.
When a club the size of a Newcastle or Liverpool do something, it's like the response. And you can just go, "That's stupid. They're idiots." Fine. The far more interesting thing is, why have they done it? Because there's teams of people who have access to data that you don't have, that we don't have, that I don't have as fans, who have made this decision for a reason. And that's the fascinating part to me, because I go, wow, like what have they seen? And that's always an interesting part to me. So I don't know. Look, we'll see where this goes. I want to come on to the Šeško thing in a second and sort of close off this conversation. But Vivlad makes a good point. What's mad is they're able to generate close to 120 to 130 million for Diaz and Nunes. This is another aspect of the kind of stockpiling talent conversation, is that when you do have that many top players and someone comes in for them, you can charge what you want, mate. You really can. So I mean, that's if you've got Ekatike and Isak and Nunes, but you don't need to sell, wow, you're in a strong position. So I think it's good. And thank you, Emirates Sarah, for your super chat as well. Nathan Steinegger. Oh, careful. This is Salah succession planning. We won't spend for the next 4 years after this. Nathan, you say we. Are you a Liverpool fan?
But Salah's succession, is it Salah's succession planning though? So you take Salah out and you've got Ekatike and Isak. I don't see the fit there, unless it's moving to something different. So I mean, if they'd signed like an Mbuemo, let's say, right? I see clear succession planning there in terms of Salah. Like Mosquera. Now, I don't want this world to be a reality, and I don't think it will be. Maybe that's the coping with me, but it's like it is succession planning, isn't it, for a potential sale in the future that we might have to do. That's like clear succession planning. If there's one player I'm worried about, at Arsenal, it is him. And
100%.
And I don't care. I don't care what anyone says, right? Like I'd like to think that we try and speak as logical as possible. Maybe delusion at times, but there is no way anybody's sitting there not worried about the prospect of a Saliba sale, like maybe next summer or hopefully not. Touch wood.
I mean, I am concerned. I'll just get my camera back on. There you go. I don't understand it. Someone please help. I am concerned about it. I'm not worried about it this summer.
No.
But next summer, if we don't win something next summer, he's gone.
It's a serious fear, isn't it?
It's like he's gone.
Like,
because at that point he's 25, and you sign a 5-year deal at Madrid, and you could be there till you're 30, and then maybe you sign one more contract. So one more big contract, and you have to start thinking like that. And these top players will, which is a big concern for this year, and why we have to get things so right. Put your chair back, Alex. What have I done?
Your chair back, Alex.
Yeah, put your chair back, Alex. Yeah, put your chair back, Alex. Sake. Šeško to Newcastle. Okay, I mean, we've spoken about Šeško many times. I honestly, like right now, I don't think the fee. Like if you said to me 90 million euros for Šeško or 60 million euros for Gyökeres, it's a lot closer than it was at 60 million for both.
Yeah.
I said something in a different video recently. Let's close out on this. I said something in a different video. It's hard because it's not as simple as you're just looking at the centre forward market. Your centre forward is Alex Forder has messaged me saying there's another app that's accessing the camera. That's why. Aspect ratio switching between auto and a fixed resolution. Alex, can you explain what I need to do? Because you're the tech whiz.
In layman's terms.
Can you put that in being big and idiot terms? So I said this in a recent different not video. I feel we've left the centre forward party early. That's what I feel right now with Gyökeres. It's not that I don't, I'm not gonna re-explain the Gyökeres thing. I will get behind Gyökeres. I think there's big upside to what he does. But looking at what's happened, I said this and I got slated for it, but I'll stand by it. I feel as though we left the party early. Do you feel that? Or do you feel this is more about, okay, we've got someone in, and then with this signings around him, so with Madueke, with Eze, whatever, we're beginning to build a picture of an attacking group that Arsenal are building. And actually, Gyökeres makes more sense in that case.
You'd have to ask me that post this Isak situation. That's when we would know fully as to whether we've left the party too early or not. And then I also have to look at the Isak deal, because for me, right, as much as I love him, I said this before, there still is a limit as to what I'd be willing to. Oh, okay, interesting. You're getting there.
I blame Forder.
But there's a limit that I would be looking to put on an Isak, irrespective of how good he is, when you're talking about the wages, when you're talking about the entire financial outlay. But I guess for me, let's say if Liverpool sign him and they sign him for, I don't know, 100 million, let's say, and the wages are, 250, 300. I'd get on board with that logic of, we maybe left the party too early. But for me as well, Alex, I think it's very important to get business done as soon as possible, especially with the season not too far away, and allowing players to gel, give them time continuity, to be able to understand the systematic demands. And that's why one of the big positives for me of this window is how active we have been to get deals done so that these guys can play. So that's where I stand on it, really. I think the Sesko deal, and maybe I'm kind of contradicting myself here, but I felt like, and when we just spoke about Ekitike from a Liverpool perspective, of Liverpool banking on the talent to, show that they fully were right to make the decision of spending 80 million on him as of today. And the same could be applied to Sesko. Sesko would probably be similar sort of money to Ekitike, but we're here saying right now that's a lot of money. That's quite excessive. But maybe you could take the Liverpool approach and bank on it. But I think with Arsenal, we're not necessarily in the same situation as Liverpool because of who they've already signed. With a Salah, well, not a Salah, with a Wirtz, and already having a Salah there. So I think it depends on, overall, just to going back to your point, I think it depends on what happens with Alexander Isak. My feeling is that I feel like Arsenal would have been very well aware of what's been happening with the Isak situation. I feel like this is
this wouldn't have been the first they'd known about it. Let's be clear. Yeah,
it feels like this surely there's more stuff done in the background that we're not privy to that information yet. That's a little bit more advanced.
I think so, and I also think, kind of coming off your point, people are saying it in the chat, and I think it's actually accurate as well. There's different ways of approaching it. Ultimately, you have to have a valuation of a player, because if you go and do Isak for 150 million, with 300k a week, whatever, that's incredibly exciting. I mean, that would just that would make my summer, right? Does that address all of the issues in our forward areas? Just Isak on his own?
And banking on availability as well, right?
And you're banking on availability. I don't know. So then that stops you doing Madueke and Gyökeres, and say we do Madueke, Gyökeres, and Eze. I don't know if you get better outcomes, because ultimately I watched that goal I mentioned against Liverpool, and you just go, oh my god. But yeah, so I do get it, and I think ultimately what I've been impressed by with Arsenal this summer is it feels that we have stuck to valuation. It feels like, with the Mosquera deal, which we'll come on to in a second, 13 million initial fee. That is crazy money. in a good way. Like, it's crazy for a talent of his ability and his, he's the player over the last 2 seasons, U21, who's played the most minutes in the top 5 leagues. That's insane.
Yeah.
To get that consistency and reliability for that sort of fee, and someone who wants to come in and do that. So yeah, I do get it. As long so much of my assessment of this window comes back
contingent.
To, if we get Eze or Rodrigo, then mate, I'm so happy. So yeah, I do get it. I also think, just to go back to my point before, the kind of leaving the party early thing, I'll feel like I left the party early, but ultimately maybe I'll feel like we made the right decision, because you can leave the party early and have a bit of FOMO, but actually you did make the right call. It kind of peaked. And I think like the centre forward situation can't be viewed in isolation. It can't be, well, who's the best centre forward on the market? Well, we didn't get him, therefore we failed. Hang on a minute. We can't think about squads like that. We can't. We have to think about problems in the squad, how we solve them, for what price, at what cost, with who, with numbers, with the amount of starters that we need, with the financials involved. So yeah, I will definitely be I'll be very, very happy with the summer if we end up with, let's say, Eze, Gyökeres, and Madueke. I think that's a good summer.
I think the Eze factor here is big, because it's turning, right, in terms of pure incomings, from like a 7 to an 8.5/9.
Give us your pitch for Eze, because I know you did Scouter with George.
So, 2 words. Wenger coded.
Eberiche Eze.
Okay. Wenger coded, chess champion. Fill the team with chess champions. That's what we need. No, I've always felt with Eze, and we've done it in TCP Live before, main pods, where I think when you look at Arsenal's squad, and from a skills gap perspective, we lack a lot of the things that Eze provides. And I think me and George see it kind of slightly differently, where I think George sees him more as a 10, floating 10, starting on the right but then drifting, whereas I see him someone who can absolutely bang on the left wing if you create the right environment for him. But when you're talking about the qualities, the 1v1s across the pitch, the transition efficiency, like the decision-making transition is frightening. The ability to finish chances in the same way that Ødegaard was doing it in the 22-23 season, where we're funneling through the left and then finishing through the centre and the right. We can do that on the opposite side of Eze. When you're talking about just that ability to kind of receive the ball in central spaces on the half turn, carry, face play, and then make something happen. We don't have enough of that without someone like an Eze. We don't have enough players who are comfortable in tight spaces, who can just turn and create magic. That's what Eze provides,
and we saw that against Milan, which we'll come to in a second with Mosquera.
Exactly. So for me, it's like, I don't look at Eze as having a set position. I look at this as someone who solves a clear skill gap that we are lacking currently in the squad, and there's the data there to support it, in terms of when you look at like line breaking passes centrally. Arsenal rank really poorly in that regard, and one of the reasons is because we don't play enough balls into these areas, but also the players that we have in these spaces. A Declan Rice receiving, between the defensive midfield line. He's not comfortable in doing that. You throw someone like an Eze in that space, it opens up a completely different picture. So,
and I've got a bit of a thing about at the minute about this idea of like pillars and complementary pairs. And I look around the squad building and I go, you got the pillars, you got your Saka, Saliba, your Rice, your Raya, your Gabriel. Those are my pillars. And I won't say Ødegaard. And the reason I'm saying that is because a pillar is you start, if you're fit, in every context, no matter the situation. And I'm sorry, I'm not even the biggest Ødegaard fan could say right now that is, you never come off the pitch. In every context you thrive. You're perfect for every game state. Even the biggest Ødegaard fan. We won't talk about him now, but those are my pillars. I just want to give that reasoning for why I didn't say Ødegaard, because he's very close to that. And he's a massive part of the team. But I'm looking at complementary pairings around the pitch. I'm looking at like Ødegaard and Waneri, 2 very, very different types of right 8s. Gyökeres and Havertz, 2 massively different types of 9s. Madueke and Martinelli, 2 very, very different types of left forwards. And with Eze and Rice, you create such a different dynamics with two left 8s. And it's so exciting. And that's kind of the way for me, we go back to the Gabriel Heinze stuff that I was bugging you about.
You got what you needed?
I did, yeah. You build squads that way, where you don't have 2 players who do the same thing. You have 2 players who do completely different things, and then you adapt it based on what you're doing.
The most exciting thing about it as well, and we've said it many times, is that a lot of these deals points to change, and it points to something new. And And we've always pushed back on this idea that Mikel isn't one for change. I think you can certainly argue the case of, do you
Go
agree
on.
with that change?
Do your
I
thing.
no, I won't be doing. It's kind of like the. I think it's very fair to critique the change that he will implement. Like that's totally fine. But to say that we don't change, I don't agree with. Like
No.
you can't sign a Victor Gyökeres, and we'll probably talk. You can't sign a Victor Gyökeres and play the exact same way. It does not make any sense. Like irrespective of the level of improvement Mikel can do for him, ultimately that is a player he's in his prime age. He's 27. He plays a certain way, and you have to facilitate that. And then it's the same as a Madueke, where you're talking about on the left-hand side, where I don't know about you, but I've been looking at a few things, and certain things that he does there do excite me. It requires a different way of playing in specific situations. So, and then Eze as well. Eze left wing, right, Alex? Arsenal play the exact same way. Let's say we watched that Milan game, where for me, tactically, I'll have to rewatch it, but I didn't see loads of things different. In fact, I didn't see anything that was majorly different personally. So you looked at how Martinelli played, and you looked at how we used the left wing. We looked at how we used the left winger in that situation, in that game. If you put Eze in there, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me to put someone like Eze of his skill set and his quality in that same way. And I don't think we will do. So the whole idea of change is something that excites me.
Yeah, I think there is no doubt with the signings that we have, there is going to be some change. We didn't see them really.
Yeah.
You know, we saw Zubimendi obviously, but really the players who are coming in to change things, Madueke, Gyökeres, hopefully Eze, who else? Those are the players who are going to change things. So yeah, we haven't really seen it. Before we come to some wild assumptions about the team based on the AC Milan game, let's do some super chats. Personally, think we do sign a left wing or Eze. I'm adamant we won't do nothing for the last 39 days. Would make no sense. 2 or 3 sales too. I agree with you, Tom. I think we've got a long way to go. I think the sales thing is a massive aspect of it. I mean, realistically, if we think through the squad, I think we could do 6 or 7 from where we are right now. So I'm looking at Karl Hein. I'm looking at Zinchenko. Looking at potentially, these are all potential. I'm looking at potentially Kivior. Obviously, we're going to sell Saliba to Madrid. No, that's a joke. Vieira. I'm looking at Sambi. I'm looking at, again, potentially one of Martinelli or Trossard. I'm looking at Reiss Nelson. That's 8 players. Yeah. So I think there is definitely going to be some sales that we can do, and I'm pretty confident that once we get some sales out the door, we move for an Eze. Yeah. All the rumors are that we are talking to him, and I think we're probably waiting to hear on Rodrigo, but I suspect we're sort of thinking.
I also find it very. I think for me, you know, like the mindset change of like free attackers kind of altered in like Ethan Wanieri's, the comments around Ethan Wanieri's new deal and stuff, where it's like game time has never been an issue for Ethan, you know, because when I think when we sit back and we look at the number of minutes that he did play last season, it's unprecedented for a player of that age to come in his breakout season and play that much. Now, I think obviously the injuries were the big driver there, giving him the opportunity, and he absolutely
preeminent driver. Would you say?
Absolutely. I think that's actually I think that's fair, isn't it? Ethan Wanieri got the minutes that he did, and he thrived with it because of the injuries that we suffered with the likes of Martin Odegaard and Saka. You know, so game time isn't an issue there, and I think putting that much responsibility on someone of that age isn't really fair, and that's where I think the free attackers does make sense to me now when I think about it more. And yeah, I also think it makes total sense for Arsenal to be, you know, pushing the idea of sales before we get this next player in, you know. And this is where I think the Madueke deal, you know, when we look at Madueke as a player and the deal itself, it's 2 different things where as a player, you can really like him, especially when you watch some of the games back, and certainly what I've got that impression from both sides. But Madueke, the deal itself, if that prevents Arsenal from doing an Eze, let's say, that's when you look at it slightly differently, don't you? Yeah. Whereas if you get an Eze in, then you look at Madueke and the deal, you don't care about it. And also the player itself, you see a lot of sense there with, you know, maintaining the dynamics of a Saka stylistically similar type of backup, you know, whatnot. So a lot of it's just contingent on.
Yeah, it's so much contingency. It's crazy. Mr. Tybox123, thank you so much for a very kind super chat. You guys badly underrate Gyökeres. He will outscore Isak, mark my words. Also availability over everything. So long as we get Eze plus Rodrigo or someone, we made all the right choices. Great work regardless. Super excited. Rohan, you're going to stop me because my instinct right now is to make some wild bet about like the future. I'll delete TDK if Isak gets more goals than Gyökeres or something. That's my instinct right now. I respect everyone's opinion, of course. I agree with you the second part of your perspective, but I just can't see Gyökeres outscoring.
He's going to be doing that at the Emirates. It's going to be doing that.
I hope so.
No, that's what we're all going to be doing. Just going to be doing that. Not even going to be doing anything else. The moment we get in there, we're going to be watching the game like that throughout 90 minutes.
What, as in you don't want to watch him, or?
No, we're just going to, everyone in the stadium we're just going to have our hands like this.
Just watching like this.
Watch him like that. The moment we enter the stadium, that will give him powers. Am I doing it right?
You're covering your eye, so I don't.
Okay.
I think it's more. You've got to do like. Yeah.
Okay.
Just to say.
Is it like that?
Yeah. If anyone else did this celebration, cringe, embarrassing. Grow up. You're a grown man. Arsenal fans do it. Cool. Scary. Maybe sexy. Certainly exciting.
What are your thoughts on it all? Like, I can't lie. You know,
on the celly,
on the celly, right? Especially there's that one comp. It does get me excited. I
do it.
Yeah.
I'm up to it. Ziander says if he does support Bournemouth the rest of your life, I do, mate. Oh no, sorry, I support Man United or whatever. Oh no, I take money from the Kroenkes.
I've got big hands.
No, I don't take money from the Kroenkes. No, I'm a hater. Okay,
You're just on Gary Neville's payroll. That's what you need.
I'm on Gary Neville's. That's the one. Sorry, I always forget which one it is. That's the one. That's the one. I didn't see a world where Liverpool do 3 Maverick signings, 100 million in a window. Utter woke nonsense, says Olushola Toba.
I just don't see it. Like 3? That's even not Chelsea levels. What?
3? That's even not Chelsea levels.
It isn't though, isn't it? It is not. It's just that. What would that take their spend to? So it's what 120 million on Verts, 80 million on Ekitike. I might be making these fees up. So that's 200
more,
million. Yeah. 200. Let's say 200 million. And Kirkes was like 30, wasn't it? Was it?
Something like that. Maybe 40.
Was it 40? So it's 240. And then Frimpong was like 40, weren't it?
Yeah. Hang on. Why don't we look this up rather?
Yeah,
than
but I thought it's quite good to just guess.
No, let's just speculate.
Yeah, that's.
Do you know what I said on holiday?
Yeah.
And I can't remember where I heard this, but I completely agree with it. Speculation is the fabric of families. And do you know what's ruined it? Phones. Because it used to be you go on holiday, you'd see something. We saw a goose. One goose is a goose.
Goose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiple.
Yeah, geese is multiple. Yeah.
One goose, and not a mongoose. One goose, and
where are we going with this? So you've been on holiday.
There's a thousand people. There's 1,000 people watching me say this. A goose, and we were speculating about where it was from, and then my sister's husband went, "Well, I can just look it up." I was like, "No, that's the whole point of families is that you have a conversation like, oh, maybe it's from wherever, and then you learn stuff that way. If you just look it up, you won't remember it, and that's the end of the conversation. The whole point of it is you speculate about stuff. That's what we're doing here at Liverpool. We're just learning the right.
I think it's totally fair to do a little bit of research on the spot there to see where it's from. But what I will say is, too much phones on holidays is just a no-go. You gotta just enjoy it, embrace, and you got to get at least 20k steps per day. Like that's
I was hitting
non-negotiable. Non-negotiable.
Last week I was hitting. Let me tell you, everyone cares. Let me hear.
What's your weekly average though? Like,
I don't want to tell you. But last week I was hitting. Okay, I was hitting. I went 15 and a half.
Yeah, that's
14 and a half, 15 and a half, 12 and a half last week.
And maybe there's periods where you've not had your phone, so you put a bit of tax there as well. So we'll say you're hitting 16k each day.
Yeah, and I turned my phone off and left it at home quite a lot. So maybe.
Yes, there you go. Yeah.
Maybe. Anyway, we should probably talk about football, shouldn't we?
We do what we want.
We do what we want on this show, mate. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, come on. Now that's
You can't sign Isak on top of that.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, come
No
on.
chance. No chance. You
You
can't.
less worried
I mean,
now, Alex? How about
and
you
if
less
you
worried?
no, and if you do, I mean, how much would that be? Say Isak was 100 and
It's
that would be
130 at least.
that would be 450 million euros. Obviously, transfer market works in euros in one window.
Yeah, and that's not even factoring in the wages.
But sales, they've sold Kwanzaa for 35. They sold Kelleher for 14, which, by the way, for Brentford, classic Brentford, that's an unbelievable deal for Brentford. He's a top keeper. Obviously, Trent
Yeah,
went for
but they've
10
lost.
million.
Brentford have lost the guy.
Brentford have lost everyone.
No, but
Bre-
Flecken, Mark
Oh,
Flecken.
your best mate.
Yeah, my best
Your
mate,
best
Mark
mate.
Flecken.
They've lost in one window
Yeah,
their manager, their captain, their best player, probably about to lose their second best player.
yeah.
Mate,
They're in a relegation dogfight, maybe.
possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Do you know who else are in trouble? Wolves. Wolves are in trouble as well.
I want to talk about the AC Milan game.
Yeah, but this is
How
what
do
it's
you
about, isn't it?
feel about potentially selling Martinelli? If Diaz is going for 70 million, surely we can get around that for Gabby. Numbers are very similar. I mean, I'm looking at like Bayern and obviously Barca have got their man in Rashford now. It does feel like there's a bit of movement in the left wing market.
Yeah,
But I quite like Trossard to Bayern for 20 mil. Mate,
100%.
sign me up.
I don't know
It
if I spoke
all
to
depends on
you.
the fee.
I don't know if I spoke to you about this or if it was George. It's like Trossard. It's just the right time to sell for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is when you're talking about Eze, right? You're bringing in an Eze. Who is Eze more similar to? A Martinelli type or a Trossard type? It's more of a Trossard type, right?
Yeah,
That's your one
fair
reason.
point.
Then you look at the wage, not the wage, sorry, you look at his age, 30 years old. He's got 1 year left on his deal. And then the other factor that you have to put into it, I think, is the returns that Trossard is giving us season after season after season are diminishing. I'd say his best period at Arsenal was 22-23, when he came in January to the end of the season. I'd say that was his best period. Then the following season, he was cooking. And then last season, he did well. I thought he showed up in key moments, especially in the absence of Saka, with some really big numbers. But I'd say overall, that was his worst season at Arsenal. It's not to say it was a bad season, but
So, say for example, last summer, someone you know
oh, here we go,
had said this to you that you're
and
getting.
now
diminished
you want
returns.
to keep him.
I'm not saying I'd keep him. Say someone last summer had said this to you, and you had mocked them, and you'd mocked them for that opinion. What would you say to them now?
I would continue to mock them.
To answer the question, Big Cheese, I think, for me, it really, I don't think we get 70 million for Martinelli. I mean, if we could, amazing, but like that's my ideal valuation. I think we get something like 50.
Yeah,
it all depends on fee, but I actually really like that point about Eze because he's very stylistically. If he was going to play left wing, he'd be very different to Martinelli.
yeah,
He'd also be very different. But I don't hate a kind of Martinelli, an Eze Madueke pairing on that left hand side. Because one of the things about the Madueke thing that I think we're massively underrating is this quality on his left foot on the left.
Yes.
To solve this issue about the overlapping fullback that we all want, Madueke can create from he can't do certain things, and his final action is a big issue.
Yeah.
But his creation off the touchline, people who watch me will know one of the big issues with Martinelli. You'll know this. I've said it to you a million times. He can't create off the touchline. He can create inside, but that's not the situation we put him with as a left winger. Madueke can do that. So Eze, who's more of a creator inside, and Madueke, who's more of a creator outside, I don't hate that combination. But yeah, it's all numbers dependent for me.
For me, the Madueke thing, right? So there's 3 games that I've watched the Madueke left wing, like the really common like mainstream ones now, like the comps that have came out on him at the left wing. It's like Liverpool and it's Man United. Chat, go and watch his game against Everton. He played left wing in that game. Honestly, some of the things he was doing, just I could see so many things that we could do with him there. And I found it very interesting, and maybe I'm reading a little bit too much into it, but Mikel kind of referenced one of the best wide forwards in the Premier League. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but he wasn't explicit in saying like right winger. Whereas I think sometimes he is quite explicit. I think Madueke, one of his best traits is his movement off the last line and the runs he makes in between the fullback and the centre back. Mate, every single game he does it at least 4
He
or
moves like a
5
9,
times.
bro.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it is crazy. He gets into so many promising situations. Now, where I push back on the Rafinha comparison is the fact that Rafinha is a killer. When he is in those spaces, his efficiency in front of goal is fantastic. Madueke, his biggest issue is what he does in that final decisive moment. And I think Arsenal have looked at this, and Mikel, I think Mikel has looked at Madueke as a player as like his perfect player to mold, because he sees what he is in terms of out of possession. I push back on this idea. There was an interesting article. I had a look at it where I can't remember who it was. It might have been from Scouted Football, where it looked at Madueke, Eze, Rodrigo, Martinelli, Trossard, and it compared them like out of possession. And Madueke was like near the bottom. I don't know what metrics they've looked at, but every game I've watched of Chelsea, his diligence in the press and his commitment to defend deeper when necessary, he does it consistently. There's no problems there. 1v1, he's a monster. He beats his man with ease. He's done it against Lewis Hall. He's done it against Guardiola. Seen him do it against Ake. And just that ability to kind of create separation, not just on the run, but from a standstill, is fantastic. He's got all the physical tools there. The final action is abysmal in terms of like consistency. But I think Mikel looks at that and thinking, I could certainly help in that, because with repeated patterns, with repeated movement, pre-rehearsed sequences, I could really get a player who can simplify his game in those decisive moments that could perhaps change things. So
while we're on this, let me just, because I was going to come to this anyway. Declan Rice on Noni Madueke and the fan reaction to his signing. There's obviously been a lot of talk around his signing. I didn't like it, if I'm speaking honestly, but I know how driven he is. I've spoken to him, and you're going to see what he's about this season. As football players and players that have played with him, we know the quality he has. He's so driven, and he's proven. He wants to prove and show everyone what he can do, and I think you're going to see that. There's a hunger inside his belly. When he signed, he had like 10 or 11 people with him. That excitement, it's a good thing. He's hungry, he wants to play for Arsenal, and those are the type of players we want. It's so positive. I think he's going to shock a lot of people, and I can't wait for him to come. And I absolutely loved those comments, because I think, for me, the Madueke signing, I think we've spoken. You spoke really well there about the on pitch stuff and what I think Mikel will see in him as a player. But from a deal perspective, when you put down this kind of money, again, I come back to the same thing, and I give the respect. I put, like, Newcastle are unbelievable recruiters. They're unbelievable recruiters. Liverpool are unbelievable recruiters. When they put down really big money on players, like Ekitike, you'll notice my response to the Ekitike thing was, I must be wrong. Because if Michael Edwards is putting down that kind of money on Ekitike, I haven't seen something, obviously. Obviously, he's the professional. Certain clubs do deals, and I go, I don't trust you, but obviously certain clubs have the pedigree and have the sort of proven track record. And with Arsenal, what do we say about Ben White? What do we say about, people will argue about Kai Havertz, but I actually think Kai Havertz has repaid it. What do we say about the fee about Declan Rice? When we put big money down for players, tends to work out under this team. So we clearly, basically, we're in a position where maybe this is a complete flop. Maybe it is, and in which case, cool. But if I look at the track record so far, when we do this type of deal, it tends to be because we've got serious thinking behind it. And I'm excited about the thinking in the same way that I said earlier about Liverpool and Newcastle. What have they seen? Because they've seen something. Even if you hate the signing, you cannot tell me Arsenal haven't seen something. And I think what you're saying is basically what they've seen. And I think that's where it's going to come from. And also in the sort of the mental side of things. This is why I hate like the analysis of it, because it just goes to, it's a terrible signing. No. A professional recruitment team with a really good track record have seen something. Let's talk about what it is. And that's on what you just said, I think, is what they've seen. Yeah,
and I think it's a case of like, try and, you always formulate your own opinion, and you don't have to agree with a deal. But it's kind of like thinking to yourself, okay, this recruitment team, you go through the history, you think of Gabriel, you think of Ben White, you think of Aaron Ramsdale. Even Aaron Ramsdale, I look at Aaron Ramsdale as a success, because from where Arsenal were to where he left Arsenal improved significantly. Then you think of the Jurriën Timbers, the Declan Rices, the Gabriel Jesuses, which were unfortunately impacted by injuries. That's not the recruitment team's fault. They assessed and analysed the player and the impact that he could have into our team and our setup, And look at the change that it brought, and then you look at Zinchenko as well. I'd look at Zinchenko as a success as well because of what he offered and how he changed the way that we went from one way of playing to
100%.
another way of playing. These are all players upwards of 30 plus million. The deals that you could look at that haven't worked out, strictly looking at the transfer fee, are Fabio Vieira, right? That's not worked out. But those are going to happen. It's very difficult.
They are going to happen, and I've got the list here, bro. Like, and this is why. And again, it's not to go, I blindly trust this team and everything they do I approve. No, of course, I have my big concerns about Madueke, 100%. But it's the flipping sort of the way of viewing it, which is what I'm trying to say. It's not I blindly agree. It's what have they seen? Because this team who have done this success, Declan Rice, for 116 million euros or 105 million pounds. In my opinion, Kai Havertz has been a success. People will disagree. Zubimendi is going to be a success. We should talk about him in a second. Yes. Ben White, that was massively questioned. Success. Yeah. Let's see with Madueke. Jesus, injuries aside, was a success. If he didn't get injured, that is a massive hit. Thomas Partey, everything aside, ultimately on the football pitch, if you ignore his injuries, massive success. Calafiori, we haven't seen it, but again, injuries. During Timber, we would have been sat here a year ago and said we don't know, injuries. Now we have seen it, success.
Wow, yeah, exactly.
So do you know what I mean? So at some point you have to go, yeah, you're right about Fabio Vieira, 100%. At some point you have to go, okay, again, as I say, not blindly support, but they've seen something. So what is it?
It's kind of like, the way I look at it is, firstly, when you have like a different, coach coming in with a different team, with a different recruitment team. At first, they have to buy your trust. They have to buy your trust of having a track record of players that we brought in and have been successes. They've got that. So then you have to look at it from the perspective of, okay, why have they gone for this player? Why have they gone for that player? And like we've said, you don't have to agree with it, but they have earned the right for us. They've earned the respect for us to ask these questions and give them a bit of trust there. That's not to say you don't have, that's not to say you would have to agree with it, but it's not, it's there's been planning and there's been thought behind it, and that's where I think it's very good to try and look at the why, and as opposed to just, and I kind of did that a little bit with the Madueke, when the Madueke news came out, and I was certainly very wrong to lose my head in that scenario. But then when I looked at it and I watched the games and I thought, yeah, I kind of see it, but it's kind of like, again, that's a contingent, isn't it? It's a contingent on something else. And
Yep. Mr. Ty Box, you're going to see how wrong you got the Sesko tech next season. Bullet dodge. Yok is going to bang. Absolute specimen. I will say, I told you so. Well, we'll be there. Mate, and this is, I say it so much, but it's so true. Like, honestly, I think people get really attached to their takes and bro, I don't care. I honestly, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, I do not care. If Gyökeres bangs, I'm buzzing. I just and also based on the conversation we just had, the trust that the recruitment team, they do have my trust. So they've seen something, and it's up to them. I have my doubts. I have much more doubts about him than I have about Madueke, actually. Yeah. But I'm not the professional. So if he bangs, great, cool. Cool. My club wins. I really don't care. Ichigo, imagine how much extra space Saka is going to get with Gyökeres and Madueke on the left. They all boss 1v1, so doubling up is going to be so much harder. Let's use this as a jumping off place to talk about the AC Milan game. A couple of talking points, because I do want to come to this, because we haven't discussed basically any of the things we wanted to discuss, but there you go. That's TCP live for you. And my camera isn't working, so there you go. So you said earlier that you weren't sure there was massive changes. I don't want to make big assumptions based off preseason, but if I was to be sat here in 4 game weeks, after the Spurs game, whatever it is, and I was saying this, I wouldn't be surprised. I think we're a little bit narrower, and I don't know why, but if I was looking at our final third shape, it felt narrower, and we had Saka and Martinelli on the pitch, and it felt they were closer to the penalty boxes. Okay. I think it's something to do with not getting them as isolated, but without the support, I have a question mark about it. It's a very, very early thought. It's something I'm looking at. The thing that I am sure about, and I think it's something, I'm working it out, but it's something to do with them being more involved, but we need to look at that. The thing I am sure about is Norgard, especially, and Zubimendi, first time passes vertically through the middle. That was undeniably there against AC Milan. Whether that carries on, whether that's a consistent thing, whether that's Mikel coaches out of them, I don't know. But that's 100% something I saw. I also love, because you have to have the players who play those passes first time, but you also have to have the players who receive them. And you made this point about Eze earlier, and it's a good one. The more receivers you have on the inside, the better. And we saw the benefits of that with Waneri.
Yeah.
And finally, we could talk about, Dauman and Salmon and stuff, but we sort of covered that in the instant reaction. The left-hand side is still an issue to me. It's still an issue in terms of creation. It's a massive caveat with preseason and fitness and whatever. But there's a reason Reiss Nelson looks good, and it's the same thing. He can create from out to in. It's the same thing again. He's not, in my opinion, right at the level, but the reason he slots in and immediately looks good is because he can do something from lane 5 to 4. That's why. I'm telling you, that's why he can do it. He comes in, he creates a moment of separation, he has the shot near post. And everyone goes, wow, what are we doing here? That's why.
Yeah.
So if we can improve that with an Eze, with it.
I think the Reiss Nelson conversation is interesting, right? And I'd love to get your take on this. But I've always felt, out of all the players over the years, and I'd even say more than the Emile Smith-Rowe, I think Reiss Nelson is the one guy I don't think he's had enough opportunities in the Premier League. I just don't think so. And there are the caveats of injuries, but mate, he's been in loads of match day squads and he's not been used. He just hasn't been used. And when I look at Reiss Nelson and I look at some of the games that he's played coming off the bench, you think of Bournemouth 22-23, not just Bournemouth, but that's like the big, the big moment for Reiss in his Arsenal career. But against Forest, when Saka came off injured, he came on and he banged. We won 5-0 in that game. Against Southampton, he came on and we almost were able to win that game, the dreaded 3-3. Reiss Nelson had a profound impact in that game. And then the following season, he started against Luton, had a top game, and then we didn't see him again after that, towards the back end of the season. And for me, I look at Reiss Nelson as a player who has so much quality, but has never really been given the opportunity to maintain continuity because he's not been picked enough. And like I said, there are injuries in that, but he's been in a lot of matchday squads that he's not being used. And I just think it's I always feel like it's the what if moment with Reiss. What if this, what if that, if he'd been given more opportunities there, if he wasn't injured in that period. And I get quite upset about the situation where I look at a player, and since Mikel Arteta has came to Arsenal Football Club, he has started against Chelsea, Bournemouth, which were his first 2 games, Liverpool, which we won in 2020, and then Luton. He started 4 Premier League games. Surely he has done more than enough to start more games than that over 5 years, and that's not just injuries. I refuse to believe that's just injuries.
I don't think it is. And just for people listening, we're just showing some data on the screen. It's a very, very small sample size. It's 5.990s. Yeah. But you're seeing him up against left wingers when he's given the chance. You can see what he can do. And he was this is the thing with Reiss. I'm not advocating Reiss stays at the club. I think ultimately he needs to move on. Yeah. I think we need to improve. But
for his own good as well, right?
For his own good as well. But this idea that, I think I tweeted this and it seemed to chime. The idea that Reiss is miles behind Martinelli and Trossard, I do not buy. And I think if Reiss was fit for a whole season, he would be challenging that position 100%.
And my point,
he was considered in the Jadon Sancho category.
The thing is, what's so annoying is Mikel always speaks so highly of Reiss, off the scenes, and it's okay, but I don't see that translation in faith on the pitch. I'm not saying Reiss Nelson should be starting left wing games for Arsenal week in, week out. I'm saying Reiss Nelson deserved more opportunities than starting Bournemouth, Chelsea, Luton, Liverpool. Yeah. 4 games. 4
so you're saying he should start over Saka?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Not gonna lie, I've never really loved Reiss on the right. I know he can play both, so I've never loved it. I feel the angles don't work. The angles work so well for him on the left. And mate, he was cooking for Fulham. It was so gutting when he picked up that injury because he was genuinely he was playing so well. And
did you see his I'll try and find it. Did you see his Instagram post about with his shirt?
Yeah, I saw that.
If you didn't see this, let me just get it up on screen. It's just so stupid. Reiss Nelson on Instagram. This one's deeper. Pause. First game back since injury. Praise the Lord. He's praising God and saying pause in the same sentence.
I'm not sure how I feel about pause.
I quite like it. I think it's quite funny.
Do you use it a lot? I don't use it.
I don't use it in real life, but in terms of in football discourse, I think it's quite funny.
Imagine that work. Just pause.
But do you know what I mean? I don't say verticality in real life. I don't say like you know, what else do we say?
Do you know what
Preeminent
gets?
driver.
Do you know what gets a certified bang on Twitter for the Yadar section, right? So you got like a big Tactico tweet, and then someone just quotes it with, "Imagine saying this to someone at the pub," or
Oh
something.
yeah, classic.
It's like it's
Classic.
a classic. It's a meme though, isn't it? It's a meme.
There are certain things you do.
Yeah.
Just there's a certain brand of people on Twitter who basically just all they do is they say, "Oh, so and so is being slept on."
Yeah.
That's all they do. They're like, "Oh, please let's not forget that this happened." And you're like,
Yeah.
"Why is that relevant?" And then it always bangs, and you're like, "It's just so bizarre."
If you literally say, honestly, look, anyone try after an Arsenal game or whatever, let's say Ben White had a good game.
Any player,
If you just
underrated.
put Ben White so good, that's what I do.
Yeah,
1K likes. It's 1K likes.
So true.
Ben Calafiori,
so true.
what a player.
Yeah.
Like 2K likes. Just
Yeah.
nothing that requires any form of thinking. It's just like, retweet.
If
yeah,
we
I
win,
relate to that. Yeah.
If we win, you can pick anyone and say it will. And what you say is, it went under the radar. It will go under the radar, but so and so had a brilliant game today. 2K likes.
yeah. As opposed to something that's like 4 lines, that's going to give you more like you're going to get more out of that tweet. It'll get like 10 likes.
Yeah. Met Alex once, just kept burning my ear about the verticality that Zubimendi brings us was painful. Did I, Mark? Mark, you look like my housemate.
Let me look.
I'm guessing you're the man, not the dog.
I won't know what your housemate looks like, so I don't know why I'm turning my head.
Well, other thoughts on the game before we come to some more super chats? I want to sort of finish off.
I mean, again, I want to rewatch it. I'm actually really annoyed with Arsenal because I had time to rewatch it yesterday. They didn't even put like in the evening. They didn't put the full replay on. They were putting the live like
they have
replay.
Now, though.
Yeah, they have now. But they were putting the live replay on. I thought, okay, I'll tune into it, but I can't. I like to pause, start, pause, and keep. What you? Oh God, yeah, yours is good. See, look, he's cut too much off the front though, but you can kind of get a gist of where it is. See, chat, I'm not hiding it. See,
he is hiding it though, isn't he?
But where was I?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm going to get accused of bullying you again. So carry on.
Okay, right. So I need to watch it back to look at if there's anything tactically. But in terms of players, Ben White looks so good.
Oh mate,
yeah,
fit.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah. I think I did that 2 weeks ago actually about Ben White, and yeah, it just looked like back to his full self in terms of fitness and the sharpness, the passing in the final third, the runs, the timing of it. Yeah. Horses for courses when it comes to him and Timber. And this is where I'm interested to see that Gabriel Hines kind of dial there. Again, it's pure speculation because it's just using a little bit of information that we have in front of us right now. But he's always emphasized the idea of like individual battles and picking the right player for that battle. And he references the specific scenario where it's like, I chose a midfielder at fullback because he wasn't up against an out-and-out winger. And what that meant is in the attacking third and in possession, I'm going to get more out of that as opposed to picking an out-and-out defensive fullback who could deal with a 1v1 winger better. So it's like, I'm interested there because I have the option. So,
bro, I fully buy. I've got as I said, I've got this video coming out, and it's a theory I have about like where we don't have pillars, we've got 2 complementary pairs. If you look around, like, and even if you think about like who are the options at 6, Zubimendi and Reiss are very, very different. I think we're trying to sort of fill the team with them. Lucas, if you tweeted that, you'd get easy 2K likes, mate. Easy. Easy.
I think we should make that our thing, like, all right, after every...
Should we try one? Should we try one?
Not now, but...
No, we'll do one now. We'll do one now.
Okay,
Chat, what should we tweet?
Okay, let's do it. It's got to be about the game. Let's...
Yeah.
Okay, what we can do...
Rewatching the game, something.
Yeah, okay, rewatching the game. And by the way, BTW.
Yeah.
BTW. Oh, okay. Should we do... Ranieri?
Yeah. Rewatching the game, Dalman, mate. Yeah, okay. Salah says Dalman, mate.
Just rewatch the game.
Yeah, lovely.
Just rewatched the game.
Just rewatch the game.
And by the way, and then after by the way, separate line, new line.
Separate line.
Yeah. No. So like, I'm not gonna like. Okay, new paragraph. Fine.
All right.
How are you structuring it?
What is it? Just rewatch the game and BTW.
I was thinking like BTW, like on the first line.
Okay. Yeah.
And by the way, maybe semicolon.
Okay.
We're overthinking this now. Yeah. And by
I think we're overthinking this.
Yeah. Wanyeri, full stop. So good.
Okay, I'll put Dalman. So good.
Yeah. Let's go. Tweeted.
So just rewatch the game. Dalman. So is that how you've structured it?
Yeah. That's I've done. Yeah.
Okay,
I've got
perfect.
a full stop at the end as well. I mean, it's not we've not gone grammatically correct here, but yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yep. Done it.
What we predicting by the end of the stream?
It's a certified bang. It's getting at least 200 likes. I'll tell you that now. It's getting at least 200.
We had some early super chats, but I want to come to this. Rin says, have either of y'all started tinkering with your new FPL teams? Also, Alex, can you renew the league soon? This is how I imagine you sound, Rin. Can you renew the league soon? As addicts need our fix, lol. We should do an FPL league. When's the... Because and also before, it started as TDK and ended up as Canon because we moved it over. This will be pure Canon. So we'll get everyone on the Canon FPL league. I hate FPL and I never remember to do it. So I'll just set my team and leave it. I don't even know who won last year.
I reckon I'll create a league.
Yeah? Oh, you can do it.
I'll sort it. I'll sort one. Yeah. Just remind me on Discord. Rin. And
Rin or whoever, or anyone who's into FPL, just shout Rohan and he'll set up a league for the Canon.
Yeah, I'll set one up.
Thank you, Rim. What else do we want to talk about? We spoke a bit about Milan. Also spoke about Isak. Oh, I should say as well, just as because I didn't mention at the top of the show, the next director's box phone in. So if you want to chat to us, because we literally get you on stream. It was really good fun last time. I had like 15 people or so in the chat, just chatting to them. That is on. Hang on, let me tell you. It is. Let me just get my calendar up. That is on Tuesday, the 29th of July at 8 p.m. UK time. So if you sign up as a director's box, you get the link to that, and then you have the chance to chat to us directly
about anything.
About anything. You could literally ask us anything.
Yeah. I actually preferred like the questions that weren't football related. It was actually pretty cool.
If you were a director, if a director asked you to do a hairline reveal, would you do
it? I reckon. No, actually, no.
But I don't think your barber's done you that dirty.
No, he has. Look at it, Alex. It should be like there. That's where.
Is it your normal guy?
Yeah, it was my fault. Not gonna lie, it was my fault. I was like, yeah, cut a bit more, and I didn't have my glasses on, obviously. And then I realized, he's done he's had a stinker. The fade's fine, but it's like,
yeah, nice. Mark is going to sign up as director. See. What's that called? Sales, baby. Sales. Alex is nasty for that. For what?
No.
Oh, I'm gonna get excused for bullying you again.
I also think there's just too many barbers out there these days. There's too many. Don't you think? In your area?
Yeah, they're all pyramid schemes or fronts for something. We did have a player announced today. Before we come back to Super Chat, I think we should maybe do the last, because you guys are chatty today. I like it. We should do the last sort of 20 minutes or so. But we did have a Mosquera announcement. Why are you excited? Hang on, let me do a
oh yes,
like a sort of BBC journalist thing. Ready? Today, Arsenal announced the signing of Christian Mosquera, the 21-year-old international from Valencia. We're here with Arsenal expert Rohan Jivan to talk about what Mosquera might bring to Arsenal. Rohan, thank you for joining us. Talk to us about what Mosquera might bring to the Gunners ahead of the next campaign.
Plethora of quality. We're talking about elite ball striking, a fantastic turning radius, and someone who just has an impeccable hairline. Impeccable hairline as well.
That seems like a rather facetious answer. We're on the BBC. I'd like you to give me a serious answer, please.
Just a baller, mate. Just a baller.
Who's going to crack?
I reckon I'd win the staring contest, not going to lie.
Yeah? That's not good content. Let me just say that right now.
That'll be fantastic content. No, Mosquera though. Right, Mosquera.
Go on.
I genuinely love this talent. when these links surfaced, and like I remember it was Remedy, so Remedy was like really big on him. So I saw his tweet and I thought, okay, I was gonna watch him anyway, but like this got me really gassed because he watches a lot of La Liga content, and I think he's very honest as well. Like he will say if a player is not good, even if we're linked to them. And so I watched him, and we did like a main pod on it as well, where I went through the list of traits that he has because I've done an in-depth watch on him. I won't go into all those too much, but it's very much a player in terms of the physical capacity, the physical tools are crazy. And the areas that he needs to work on are things that we can easily, well, I believe Mikel can easily coach with the guidance of a Gabriel, a Saliba already there. And I just think like when we're talking about a player who, again, you mentioned it and I mentioned it, under 21, most minutes out of any other player over the last 2 seasons. That's crazy. More than Yuya Mars. I think Kirkez was there. That's a lot of minutes for a player in which I think there's this obsession of like experience and age and having them together, where for me, it's the number of games that you play. And to have someone like that who's already racked up that level of experience is really promising. And for me, it's just a case of like, one, he preserves the dynamics of play, and I think like, when you go back and look at some of the defenders that we've had in the past, I won't name the person in 22-23, but it altered our way of playing. It did. Someone like Mosquera, regardless of the areas that he does need to improve on, and I'm talking more on the ball when he's pressed, and I mentioned it in the main pod where when you're looking at a situation where a team presses us, I would say Mosquera would look quite uncomfortable. It's not to say that he can't play through the lines because I think his passing is actually really, really strong. But in terms of under pressure and all the things that you have to do in terms of receiving, your body positioning, and being able to then send the right pass to the teammate, he's not able to do that well enough. And he actually rushes and he puts other players into trouble where he's still confident he will still be brave enough to play it, but it's not the right thing to do and the right type of pass to the teammate. That can be worked on. But in terms of like the wide defending, in terms of the pressing and being able to meet players 1v1 on the ground, he can do all that, and that's where I think this is a fantastic player to have, to mold, to improve on, to improve and refine, whilst also being able to preserve the level of a Saliba who's been ran into the ground, the level of a Ben White or a Timber, because I do see that right back versatility as well in the way that we use Tomiyasu in 21-22, the way that we've had to use Thomas Partey there at times as well. I think he can do that. So it has a really big impact on that entire unit where I say we've got so much quality there. And it's about how can you preserve that? You've got someone like Mosquera there who can do that, but also the upside to him as an individual is fantastic. And then the deal, when you talk about the overall financial outlay, is fantastic. So,
and you sort of said this earlier. Well, I can't remember if we said this before, but I have found it interesting how we've discussed players, how we've announced players and stuff. It has felt different this season. And I don't know if we can actually quantify that, but normally in these messages, it's like, it's basically this sort of stuff. He's a very talented player. Welcome him and his family to the club. But there has been these little things that have been said that I think, okay, interesting. He's an intelligent player with good pace who can play centrally and on both sides. And I'm telling you, you go back, say, I don't know, the Ben White or when we signed Gabriel or something. I don't think we identified actual qualities that the reason they signed them, because it's basically what they're saying. We signed them for this. And that is exactly right in terms of the pace and century on both sides. I think the versatility for that price as well is a massive thing. Obviously, it's massive for Mikel in general, but the versatility he can show is a big thing. And he's played a lot of minutes on the left-hand side. I don't know if he's suited to being a left back, but I think he can basically, for me, play a right back, right centre back, and left centre back in different ways. But yeah, I think it's really exciting.
Do you see what's interesting there as well, Lex? So again, we might be reading too much into it. And again, I don't want to constrain things to a formation, but he's saying you can play centrally and on both sides. I'm thinking there, he's talking about nominally back three when he's talking about central centre back. He's talking about right centre back. And he's talking about left centre back wide of a three. And he's very much implying there he can do all of those roles. Not perfectly, but he doesn't need to be perfect. And that's the beauty of this signing. I think from a value perspective, this is such a top deal. And I'm interested by the article that I think Sam Dean put out and in the Guehi pursuit and the Hoyson. Yeah. And Arsenal are willing to spend really big money on this position. And I didn't necessarily I didn't feel that was the right approach. But again, it goes back to the point that we made about how maybe the mindset on this is changing, where we do need to spend big on these players who are coming in to support the mainstays as of right now. But I'm happy that we've got Mosquera because one, it's a top exciting talent, and the fee is just peanuts. Like, I really like Guehi, I really like Huijsen, but the money for those types of players, I just didn't feel comfortable in doing that when we've got so many other things to do, So
this prospect thing made the most sense to me. I said at the top of the window, like a prospect, and I would have kept Tomiyasu around actually, but fine. Maybe this means we don't get a Zinchenko sale or a Kivior sale. I don't know, but I think it made the most sense to me to do that as a kind of prospect. And it's not lost on me in general as well. And I made this point I think recently. Norgard, distance covered. Mosquera, recovery. Madueke, stride length. George pointed this out to me because we got on the scout and I was like, I know he has something physically that's really impressive. I can't quite name it. And he immediately was like, it's his stride length. I was like, it is. Watch his stride length. It's crazy. Who else have we got? Kepa, long arms. No.
But Kepa, right? If you think of
sorry, just quickly, Gyökeres, in terms of those runs in behind, we're signing players who all physically have something, when you look at the data, is quite special. Yeah. And I don't think that's not lost on me in terms of the squad building and how we're approaching the squad building. That if we're trying to play that many games, if we're trying to solidify the squad, you can't have your Jorginhos and Tomiyasus who ultimately their bodies can't complete with it.
Do you know what's also interesting? So it's kind of like the balance between having variety, but also between continuity. So if you look at Kepa, for example, I'd say that's more continuity as opposed to variety, where in goal, I've always thought, and when we signed Matt Turner, I wasn't big on Matt Turner because of what I read about him is that this is not someone who's comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's a traditional shot stopper. And what people would argue, they would argue and counter that and say, well, he's going to be a cup keeper. So in essence, we need to value more on the shot stopping aspect. But for me, it's about continuity in play style in goal. Because if you lose, if we lost Ramsdale, let's say, for the whole season, we had to play Matt Turner there, that impacts us so much. Whereas a Kepa, and again, right, from a quality standpoint, it's not comparable, Ryan Kepa. And it never really is going to be comparable when you're talking about your first and second choice. There's very few examples to it. But Kepa, stylistically, in the way that he played for Bournemouth, there's a lot of similarities there to a David Raya in the way that he plays in terms of being aggressive as a sweeper, being able to split the centre backs situationally. It's continuity in play style. In the same way as Madueke, right? We've seen the potential option on the left, but I've always been big on the idea of, we didn't need to get a stylistically similar backup to Saka. We can play Ethan there and alter the dynamics. But Arteta's not seen it from that lens clearly. Yeah. He's seen it as, okay, if Saka's out, I want to maintain the same way of playing. It's continuity there with a Madueke. But then there are other players who there's a bit more variation. And
I think in layman's terms, for some people, that's why I think, sometimes like, I don't like the word casual because it's like, it's almost seen as like a pejorative. Yeah. But people who watch less football, they'll be like, well, also just a bit boring. I'm like, no, you don't get it. No, they're onto something.
Yeah.
We keep trying to do the same thing. And like having a bit of variety, I think is something in there, even for us who are really in the, trying to get into the details anyway. Let's go back to the super chats. Because we've what are you doing?
Me?
Oh, Lawrence McKenna has messaged me saying, why have you tweeted the same thing as Rohan? I don't know, he follows you.
Does he?
Lucky boy. Speaking of following.
Yeah.
Got a DM. Thank you, Mr. Ty, for your bet. I think this was about the Sesko Gyökeres.
How many likes, though? How many likes have you got on that tweet?
Good Lord.
Me. 174, just like that. I'd take that.
287.
There you go, though.
Ryan Cooley says, why is Rowan convinced Isak isn't going Liverpool?
Rowan.
Rowan
Atkinson.
Come on, Rowan. Oh, Mr. Bean. Goated.
Mr. Bean.
I auditioned for the Mr. Bean holiday movie. That's
really?
A bit of lore. Yeah, that's a bit of lore about me. Yeah. I had to like walk, and I was like 8 or something. I had to walk around.
That's nuts.
This is when I was a failed actor and a fake United fan or whatever I was. And I had to walk around a table
Yeah.
and like stare at someone. I remember it really clearly. I don't think I was very good.
Did you watch? Have you seen the film?
I didn't watch it because I refused because I didn't get the role.
Maybe you should watch it tonight.
I also another Rowan Atkinson thing. When he was playing Fagin in Oliver in the West End, I auditioned to be Oliver, and I must have been 10 or something, and my voice was breaking, and I didn't know what octave to sing in. And they basically did this thing where the song goes, "Consider yourself at home," and they went round and went, and everyone had to sing at like when they pointed at you, and I started in the wrong octave, so I started like, "Consider yourself like that high," and I cried the whole way home because I fucked it.
Damn.
There's some more lore about me, guys.
Mr. Bean, yeah.
And that's the
Mr. Bean.
first time I had dough balls because my mum was trying to cheer me up from Pizza Express.
Dough balls?
Dough balls from Pizza Express.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
First time I had it. Speaking of following, someone DM'd me.
Wait.
With a screenshot, and I'm going to save the screenshot.
Oh, I thought there was something else.
I'm not going to tell you who it is yet.
Can you tell me after?
No, I'll probably tell you on the stream. You won't mind.
Okay.
With a screenshot of this. And the comment was, "Sort your boy out."
What? Well, okay, right.
Who do you think that is? Who you have blocked, and they're now asking me to ask you to unblock them?
I've gone on a bit of a blocking spree recently, to be honest.
Oh, mate.
Genuinely, I think I've blocked more people this week more than I've ever blocked people because just getting. It doesn't faze me, but maybe you could say it does faze me. But it's like I don't want to see certain things like in my reply, so I just block them. I've just seen.
There he is.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, that's so sad. He's the guy, Papa Pinkett. He's the guy who does the motivational Arsenal reels and stuff. He has the podcast. He did the podcast with Dean Hoyson. Chill. I think it's called like That's Chill or something like that.
Have I blocked you? Let me have a look.
I wonder why you blocked him.
What's his name? Papa Pingus.
I'd love to know the lore behind Papa Pinkus. What's the situation there?
Is he pretty sound, Alex? Sound guy?
Seems all right, yeah. I would say I
do have a reason usually when I block people.
Yeah.
I do usually, right? So
I will say
I have a very high tolerance level as well, like very high. I will not block people for a difference in opinion, never. It will only be like insults or abuse. You insult me or abuse me, you're getting blocked. I don't care. Like straight up.
How many people have you got blocked?
I think mine's on like 150. Because I checked this the other day.
Let me check. Because genuinely, since I've started getting a bit more liberal with that, because I think in the early days I used to be like,
I was pretty
no,
calm
and I'd be like, I'd leave it. I've now started just going any abuse. You're blocked.
Can you see that?
How many you got?
Oh god,
I can't see it. How many you got?
Can you see it?
Just read the number.
All right. So I've got 155 people blocked. I've got 53 muted accounts and 6 muted words.
What are your muted words? Higuain.
So there's 3 Spider-Mans in there because I didn't want the Spider-Man to be
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay, and there's 2 Love Islands as well. Yeah.
Spider-Man and Love Island.
Yeah, because I didn't want Love Island to be ruined as well because I'd watch it always the day after.
I've blocked 331 people.
See, I'm not that bad. Rohan Feller. I didn't appreciate Rohan Feller actually, but yeah. Okay, go on.
Why don't you like the word fella?
Just felt a bit patronising, but
okay. Oogie Boogie. I ain't gay, but we're handsome FC. We are quite a good-looking team, to be fair.
We've done this many times. We've gone through them and we've spoke about this many times. Calafiori needs to.
I love that meme of like Arsenal have got some merch coming out, and then Ricky Gervais go get Calafiori.
I saw that. I think it was Roman Kemp follows me, so I saw that's where I saw it. Yeah. So yeah, I was actually quite buzzing with that one. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, I think you texted me, didn't you?
Yeah, I like him.
Ya says, we lost the chance to get value from Reiss and Vieira by signing Sterling. We would have gotten better value in this market that could impact incomings. I actually don't hate that take.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Salah says, Alex, your hair is too curly.
Yeah, my hair's a mess today, honestly.
Too curly. I don't hate that take, YA or Ya. I think that's quite a nice pickup. Yeah, I do think we've done something wrong. Obviously, the Sterling situation, but the problem is you end up judging situations purely on the outcome. Whereas ultimately, when we signed Sterling, it made sense. Obviously, it just didn't quite work out. It didn't work out. There's something we didn't do right in the Reiss, Vieira, Smith Rowe, Sterling scenario. There's something we didn't do, but I don't quite know.
Yeah. Do you know what it is though with Reiss, right? And it goes back to like the thoughts that I have of him as a player. Like I want him to succeed so much at Arsenal, but it's got to a point where, and
thanks, Ro.
It's the right amount of curly. It's just the right amount of curly.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
But yeah, I think with Reiss, for me, I just want him to go somewhere else and thrive now. Like it's got to that point where I just see this as someone where give him game time in the Premier League, he'll cook, and that's all I want for him because I've always like I don't know about you. So when I was at uni, like I would watch like the academy like religiously, and Reiss was the one I had like a big connection to. Not George. George manages to watch the academy non-stop even now, right? He's invested. That's why he knew about Miles, etc.
Reiss was my Ben White comps at 7 a.m. this morning.
Reiss was my one. Like back in the day, where I was so like really wanted it to happen, like really like more than Saka, like. It was that much, and so just I know that was a bit personal, but yeah.
No, top player. Tavia Reiss says thoughts on Leao, mate. I love Leao. Also,
right, Alex, I think you overrated that performance from him, but I'll watch it back.
Okay, watch it again, mate. I know on first watch, while mainly watching us, that it was perfect. It's like the Isak thing. It's just like an objective. It's like a thing that I love in terms of the physical qualities and also the combinations on the inside. Creatively, he looked really, really good, which is another aspect of the 10. Something that Madueke, again, going back to that conversation we had earlier, I don't see in the Rafinha conversation. Rafinha can like Travella a pass like 90 yards.
Yeah.
Madueke doesn't have that, but actually Leao has a bit more of a creative passing eye, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He just needs a fresh environment. But it happens every time. And I don't know how many more times I need to see a clip of player who... Evan Ferguson today, perfect example. I saw a clip of him scoring 4 goals for Roma. Bro's back. He's amazing. Well, last week you were all saying he's finished and washed. What does it say? It's environment every single time. And I can't wait for Rashford to cook. Oh, he's never going to take a wage cut. Oh, he did. You're delusional. He'd never take a wage cut. 15%.
So what you're saying is you would sell Martinelli, you'd sell Trossard, and have Rashford at Arsenal.
25 million buy option for Marcus Rashford is a joke. I'm not saying Rashford's going to ever go back to the levels he did, but talent like that doesn't go anywhere. It does not go anywhere, and you cannot convince me this is a bad player. But anyway, I've spoken.
Pretty pacey attacking lineup. Barca have, don't they? Got Rashford.
Oh mate, it's crazy.
Crazy.
Kieran52. Who is that? Is that Megamind?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
No, is it? No, is it? Was it Matt? Yeah, Megamind. Yeah.
Thoughts on 4-4-2, Havertz, Gyok, and Reiss Zubi pivot?
I think it can work for sure. And so, the beauty of Gyökeres and Havertz, and I've said this many times now, is that they're different. They thrive at different things. So you imagine, right? We won't go into the all-out specifics on it, but when you think of David Raya and the long ball that we do, that is a staple of our game. To Kai Havertz, it's hit straight into him. To Gyökeres, that wouldn't work. It works when you hit it into space. That he's able to run.
Is this because that Omir guy said you were right about this? Is this why you're repeating this?
No, I don't. Did he say that? Was it on that? Or...
Did he say that? I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't recall. What?
No, and it wasn't that actually. Yeah, but I just think like because they're different. I think it can work. They can work well in tandem, and I do think that the Kai Havertz left central midfield option is still something that we're going to be
Yeah.
exploring this season. And we saw it against teams who play with a back five. You saw it against Crystal Palace just before the Jesus injury, where we had Jesus and Havertz. So yeah, I can see something happening there for sure.
Ryan Clark. Football's a relative strength game, you versus competition. How do you change your rating for our window if Šeško, Rodrigo, Isak do or don't go elsewhere? Yeah, I kind of buy this, and this is why rating windows is so hard. Like if Chelsea get Rodrigo and Xavi Simons and Hato, and then, you know, City have done what they've done and Liverpool to get Isak, it's like, well, I don't know. The problem is that we come back to what I was saying earlier about you know, arguments, isn't it? You can always make an argument, but ultimately we're Arsenal fans and we're going to try and see the best for our club. They've gone out. If you'd written down to me on paper the players that we've signed compared to them, if that was the case.
But I don't know if I can. I don't think I would change my rating depending on what other teams are doing on the window, because
I would.
Would you?
Yeah, as in again, back to the thing I said earlier about like ranking where it goes. It's not that high, but say for example, Tottenham did Rodrigo. You would have to, and we did nothing on the left. You'd have to say,
yeah,
why were we not in for that? You know what I mean?
In that context, but I'm thinking, right, let's say we get Eze, okay, and I think that will be our business done. That'll be it. Unless you sell Kivior, I think there might be a possibility to get something else in there, because Zinchenko goes as well, on top of a Kieran Tierney that's already got. But that'll be our business, you know, in Eze. I think for me, like, whatever Liverpool do now, I wouldn't really move my rating much. Depending on the Isak. I think it depends on the Isak and the overall financial outlay on that as well. Once that becomes concrete, if that deal does happen, then maybe you have to look into it. But overall, I don't usually think it's fair to be influenced by what other teams are doing when in our current context, we've done a lot of things that make a lot of sense. I think there's certainly more conversation to be had we have not done some of the volume of work that we've already done, you know. So
yeah, I like.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. And again, it's like ranking how high it is in the metrics of like how much you put in there, right? It's like it's not, you know, the players you sign are ultimately the biggest driver of what the number is going to be. But I do think if there was an extreme example like that, it would affect my ranking probably quite a bit.
Yeah, an extreme example of an Isak, like,
yeah,
but
like if all of your rivals seem to again, and you know, ultimately I can't remember what I ranked, 24, 25 summer window, but I think it was probably like an 8 or something, and now I'd probably put it at like a 6. So ultimately, you know, like it can change in hindsight. So yeah, I don't know, but
yeah, I think that's interesting.
Yeah,
I need to think about that a bit more, because yeah, it depends on a lot of things.
No. You should know everything first time.
Absolutely.
Prince Brandon. Paul Attack look janky and Alex Beard look ginger.
Is your beard ginger?
It is a little bit, yeah.
It seems brown to me.
No, it's like round it, it's a little bit ginger.
I remember back in the day where you were clean shaven. Back
in the day, man. I couldn't grow a beard.
Really? At that age? Like, that's
your big age. I'll tell you something personal. I had a breakup. Genuinely, within about a month, I could grow a beard. I think something about my body in that relationship like wasn't allowing me to grow a beard. I don't know what it was.
Interesting.
Truth. We will do 5 more questions. And I want them on these 5 topics in the chat. There's been over 1,000 of you watching TCP Live this evening, pretty much the whole time. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff. We're here. There's going to be a scouted episode coming out. There's a youth pod coming out tomorrow with Will and George. We're talking loads about the youth players. You learn loads about those guys. There'll be an instant reaction to the Newcastle game. But yeah, 5.
Are we going to get the Victor Gyökeres Dan Burn test?
More than you believe. Here are the topics that we want 5 more questions on. 1 on football, 1 on film, 1 on current events, 1 on history, and 1 on future.
What?
Here's a film question. Worst movie of all time. Not one that's so bad that it's good. What's the worst movie I've ever seen?
See, I'm quite easy to please with films. I don't know about you. So you know, like how we're quite tactico. You know, we're quite tactico, yeah, on the game. There'll be the tacticos of films.
Of films,
I'm
yeah.
not
My housemate. My housemate. He's one of those guys. Have you seen that? Oh, it's so risky trying to say. Have you seen that reel? Because people normally haven't. Have you seen that reel of the guy who's like mocking people for their film taste? If you haven't, yeah. Anyway, yeah. There was a film called Licorice Pizza, which I don't think was a bad film, but it made me super uncomfortable.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone's seen that. It made me really uncomfortable.
Oh, I've got one.
Go on.
You know that film, Babe, the pig? Oh, I hated that film. I absolutely hated it. Yeah, that was up there. I think we should do a couple more, actually. I'm intrigued now because I'm trying to think. I'm not watched... Mate, I've had no time to watch films recently because I've been watching full 90s of Arsenal players that have been linked in my spare time. That's what I've spent my time on. So, not even been able to watch Squid Game Season 3.
Oh, I'll tell you what we did. We did a thumbnail check.
Oh, yeah.
I'm an idiot. Florida. Sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, I'm going to keep thinking about films.
Can you fill while I find this? Thumbnail check. I have to say, and we say this a lot of the time, I do think Florida has cooked.
Yeah, I did.
It's the bat thing on the podcast logo.
Yeah,
you hidden up here with the bat goggles on.
that's
Absolutely unbelievable. And just the overall vibe is great. Obviously, the Gyökeres and Gabriel links. It's so good.
You can't rate it more than a 6 because you hate Gyökeres.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I do. And I hate Arsenal Football Club. And because my dad supported Man United and I did till I was 6, that devalidates all of my Arsenal opinions 2 decades later. That's
because you're on Gary Neville's payroll as well.
And I'm on Gary Neville's payroll. Yeah. What I should have done is I should have come out of the womb and gone, no, because years later, I'm not being a Man United fan, because years later there'll be people on the website who say I can't have Arsenal opinions.
Oh, I'll tell you what I did like back in the day. Matilda was a sick film.
Yeah, Matilda was good.
Yeah, Matilda.
What are we rating this, chat? 10 out of 10. The guy's an artist, said Dead Certs. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. That's a 10.
I'll give it a
10
9.
out of 10.
9.
Oh, come on. When will you give a 10?
We can always be better, Alexander.
40, you're getting a 10 off me, mate. It's unbelievable.
Tell you what is the best film, and I'll keep saying it. It's the best trilogy of all time. It's Rush Hour. And there's no questions asked. No debate. It is the best. Rush Hour.
Ford, I'm really sorry that my co-host is so disrespectful to you. And would prefer to talk about Rush Hour and give you a 10 for your fantastic work. But that's the people we have to work with, isn't it?
Maybe Ford does a Rush Hour themed thumbnail. We can get a 10.
Okay. What were the other categories? We had film. We got some super chats as well. We had film. We had
Kung Fu Panda was very good. I'm not having that. Kung Fu Panda was fantastic.
Has anyone listened to the new Tyler the Creator album? My favorite so far, says Alejandro.
I haven't actually. But
I haven't.
It was actually on my... No, it wasn't. I was just going to lie there.
Has anyone, Alejandro?
George of the Jungle. That was awful. Awful film.
Yeah?
Yeah, awful film. Came to me just now.
George of the Jungle.
Yeah. Such a bad film. Such a bad film.
Okay. What's your favourite film?
So I just said Rush Hour.
Oh, Rush Hour. But but like actual film, not rubbish.
That is.
No, but an actual film.
Okay, right. I do like. I did like Wolf of Wall Street. Not gonna lie, did like it.
It's a classic boy answer. It's quite a good film. To be fair.
I actually do. It was so my mate basically.
It's a good yarn. It's a good
He
yarn.
basically was telling me you need to watch it, and he kept telling me for like 2 years. Do you know what? I'll watch it, and yeah, it's pretty good.
It's a good tale. Like it's not. I'm not sure I love
funny.
the implications of it, but it's a good
yeah,
tale.
yeah, for sure. I do not condone what they do, but bit of entertainment for sure.
Best Christmas film? Elf. Done.
I do like Jack Frost.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Do you actually used to support United? Yes, till I was 6. I said this on like a stream, and then like it got out to like Flex United and that guy who presents Cop TV, and they said it on DR Sport. I was like, why is this a thing? Why does anyone care? It's such a weird thing to care about.
I mean, we saw what happened the other week.
We saw what
happened the other week, didn't we, Alex?
Oh my god! Good
yeah.
lord. Prince Brandon says, "What's the most fun Arsenal game you ever watched?"
I really
like 4-4, where actually no, it wasn't fun. No,
that was not fun.
Sorry, the Reading game. I meant the Reading game. Was it the 8-2? No, 7-2,
7-5,
7-5. Where it was, yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was the game against Spurs, 5-2. That was one of my favourite ones. The 5-3 against Chelsea, the Van Persie hat trick. That was
the 5-0 against Chelsea last season. That was fun.
Season
before, sorry, yeah. End of 23-24. Yeah, that was.
Do you know what was really fun? Recent times? Jesus' home debut against Leicester. That was great.
That was good against your boys. Right, we still haven't actually done any of the. We're 10 minutes over. We've got 4 left. We've got to do. We've done a film. Well, we'll ignore football. We've done our football. Current events, history, and future.
Current events. What are we going to talk about? Current events.
The best movie, obviously, United Passion by FIFA.
Are
they referencing the fact that I was a United fan? Okay, this is current events. Dead Certs. Did you watch that Jubilee debate with Mehdi Hassan? We're not going to get political, but that is a crazy clip. Have you seen it?
It was literally on my actual list. I've not seen it yet, though.
At some point, you have to be like, should we put this out? Surely someone at Jubilee went, should we put this out? Like, free speech, I get it. Do we have to put put the debate on? Just that clip?
Yeah.
Do you need to? It's so mad. Like, people can say what they want, but it's not, like, it's the whole thing of like freedom of speech is not freedom from consequence. They're two different things. And like, it's just, it's so mad to me. There you go. Current events done. I'm sure people will be annoyed about that. Let's do, what was the final one? The history and the future.
History
and the future, or the past and the future.
What specific
2 last questions.
Historical events talking about? Yeah.
Kushagra says, I'm just glad we have a striker. Imagine Liverpool buying Isak and Newcastle getting Sesko with that money. Imagine this Sporting saga in August. Scary. Yeah, to be fair, a big part of this is we have just done something. And like we've spent, and that's not, it shouldn't be high on the agenda, but I do like that we just done something.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Here's the historical question. Goated historical figure, says Ziander.
God's sake.
Goated historical figure. Who's the GOAT?
But
isn't everyone related to Genghis Khan?
No, but a lot of them have their drawbacks as well.
Of course they do.
Yeah, but this is where it gets.
You'll say someone, and then it turns out that they did a genocide or something. You're like,
this. Oh mate, honestly, like even the great. Yeah, I'm not answering.
Yeah, that's a good answer, Michael. Herbert Chapman.
Yes,
there's a non-political answer.
Did you know Herbert Chapman? This is actually the fact. Was a keen advocate on strict man-to-man pressing. Did you know that?
Of course you know that. No, Victor, I wasn't saying Genghis Khan is a goat. I'm saying that I thought that was a historical fact. Isn't everyone related to Genghis Khan? I'm not condoning Genghis Khan. This is why we don't get political on this show. I don't want to go there.
This is a good question. Right.
TCP versus 30 fans.
Okay, so got me, you, and George. Got Forder in there.
I can't wait for the day we get George in a room with like a with like a you know who, and watch how that reaction happens.
What did I say? It's two unmovable objects.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
are
yeah.
stubborn. George
Yeah.
will George knows they are stubborn. They will not back down. Me and you, literally on Twitter, right? So if you see me in a conversation with someone, it will be max 2 replies. I'm done. I just can't. And it's not. I've just always been like that. George will keep going, 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 going.
I've told him so many times. I'm like, bro, just drop it.
And the other man as well. He's obviously very, very smart at things. He's also an unmovable object. That's some. He's obviously
things.
yeah. He's obviously he knows things, right? It's just two like titans there in terms of stubbornness. You're getting like a 12-hour stream, mate, from that.
Finish with this. This is a good question. What is your biggest psychological failing?
I think so.
That's a very good question.
I
Simon.
think for me, and a lot of people said this, is I perhaps maybe downplay myself a bit too much at times.
I'd agree with that.
In the sense of like, for example, at work, I'll do something and I'll do it. I'll do it well, and I'll say, "Oh well, anyone could have done that. He could have done that anyway. He could have done that with the support and the guidance and stuff." So I always feel like, yeah, I had the support and stuff. You know, like you could get someone else who's in this room in our office, and they could all do it as well. You know, so I always, yeah, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, I fully buy that. I think sometimes I get the instinct with you to like ask you to big yourself up. So I think I see that. Yeah. What's mine? I'm perfect. So I think mine might be, I really do strongly believe that everyone has an archetype. I won't share the experience that made me think this, but you can probably guess. And I really strongly believe that, and I think I have a bit of a leadership archetype. Like I like taking the lead, but there is a shadow to everything. Every trait has a shadow. If you're smart, the shadow is thinking you know too much. If you're, I don't know, if you're a good cook, the shadow is you're going to provide. There's always a shadow, right? And I think sometimes I don't always allow people space. Like I assume I'm going to take the lead. I'll be like, I'll do it. And I think it's come from certain experiences I've had, but I think sometimes I can be like, do you know what? I'm just going to let someone else take the lead.
But are you the oldest out of your?
No. Do you know what it is? And people, I've said this on stream before, so people know. So my dad died when I was 19, but he basically wasn't. He had a disease when I was 12. So basically, I just had to grow up very, very quickly, and it's all come from that. It's so literally, and you just do unconsciously, and then. Yeah, I think it kind of made me like grow up very quickly, and then it's kind of taken me, 15 years to be like, I can just like not lead on that. I don't have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think just let someone else do it.
It usually tends to be though, like whether certain things that happen in your life, but also whether you're like an only child or if you're the eldest and stuff. Naturally, you get that responsibility. Like usually, if you're the youngest out of three siblings. I don't think you have that level. Like, for example, when you go to school, like when I went to school, I didn't have the worry of getting bullied because I knew my older brother was there, just there. So, whereas like if I was in his shoes, you're the one there protecting. There's no one to protect you in that sense, isn't it? So,
100%. 100%. There you go.
That was a really strange TCP live. I feel like I'm inundated with emotions.
I quite enjoyed it though.
Yeah, it was great.
2 hours.
We
did
good
pod.
We did a lot of things. I don't even know what I was talking about for a lot of it. Can't remember a lot of it. But yeah.
Got very deep at the end there. Pause.
God's sake.
I love you guys. Pause. Have a good night, boys. I'm not gay, by the way.
We're not doing this anymore. We're not doing this.
Love you all. You are great. Thank you for joining us on a Thursday evening. We'll be back next Thursday. As I say, there will be pods and stuff over the weekend. I'm not there on the Instant Reaction on Sunday. Are you going to be there on the Instant Reaction on Sunday?
Moving on to a different topic, I'm actually so gassed that games are back on. I can't tell you how much I cannot be. I love doing main pods with as a trio, right? I get sick of it when it's the same. Like Gyökeres today,
It's so boring.
Madueke today. We've got games to talk about now. We can talk about the Newcastle game on the main pod. I'm just like, yes.
It's such a weird part of being a content creator because, because obviously the stuff that does well is transfers. Yeah. But I don't care.
And I actually hate that part more than anything because it requires me to watch all these games because I don't like coming unprepared. So
if I gave you the option, and I've said this so many times, if I gave you the option of on like September the 1st, there's no way you could do this practically, but just hear me out as a thought experiment. On September the 1st, you just get like an announcement from every club who they've signed. Firstly, that would be unbelievable. Like the gas. Getting excited about rumors or whatever, but like that moment, everything gets announced on September the 1st. Would you take that? Every day of the week, or like it's the first game week of the Premier League season. Everyone just announces who they've signed, and that's it. We move on. I would love that.
I agree. I mean, if there was a period in which I didn't need to do videos, right? If I could pick out of the entirety of a season, it would be the transfer period, like 100%.
So you don't want to do the Cannon Pod.
So I'm saying I'm leaving the Cannon podcast.
Please don't.
Would you agree with that? Like, if there's a period in the season, like I'd probably say the transfer period is like my
international breaks because there's nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the worst bit. At least transfers is something to talk about.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Nice one.
Thank you, Rohan. We love singing. We love football. The Cannon Pod live on a Thursday. Everybody, thanks for watching and thanks for keeping it together. Arsenal, sing together. Arsenal.
God, it's 9:30.
Tens of thousands of football fans came to Highbury. This was one kind of queue the ladies thoroughly enjoyed.
Electrifying. Electrifying. Inspiration.